The silence between galaxies is not empty. It hums, a slow, patient resonance like the breath of something vast and dreaming. The Voyager drifts through it, wrapped in layers of silver haze, her ship gliding with the weightlessness of thought. Ahead, a nebula burns in soft motion, ribbons of violet and pale gold folding into one another, pulsing to a rhythm older than time. It looks alive. It sounds alive. Even through the soundless vacuum, she feels it singing. Each flare of light ripples through the hull like a heartbeat. The console glows with quiet alerts, unmapped region detected. Her eyes, wide and still, follow a current of light that draws her toward the center, toward a world that should not exist. It appears first as a shimmer, then a sphere, then a planet, no, a luminous thought suspended in the dark. Its surface isn't rock, nor gas, but something between, a radiant membrane that seems to breathe. With every pulse, the planet releases a faint tone, like the echo of distant bells underwater. Her ship descends through the vapor clouds. The stars above bend and scatter, refracted by the planet's shimmering atmosphere. The nebula behind her dissolves into pastel streaks, as though the universe itself were painting in slow motion. The moment she breaks through the final layer, her vision floods with color. The entire world glows from within, hills of translucent crystal, rivers of liquid light winding through valleys, the air shimmering with particles that drift like soft snow. Yet there is no heat, no pain, only calm radiance, as if the planet were made entirely of memory. She steps out. The ground beneath her feet yields like mist. It isn't solid, yet it holds her weight gently, a soft cradle of starlit dust. Every step creates ripples of light that spread outward and fade. And then the music begins. It starts so faintly, she almost believes it's the hum of her own heartbeat. But no, this melody rises from the soil, the rivers, the sky. It is neither instrument nor voice, but the combined memory of light itself, a lullaby sung by photons. She takes a slow breath. It feels like breathing in a sunrise. In that moment, she remembers something she hadn't realized she'd forgotten. The warmth of light touching skin, the feeling of morning before the day begins. Here, in this place without time, that memory feels new again. The horizon ripples as though responding to a thought. A faint wind drifts by, not air, but movement, whispering through the luminous fields. The colors shift from gold to silver blue. A million faint sparks rise, hovering around her like fireflies made of memory. Each spark hums a slightly different note, and together they form harmony. She closes her eyes. The harmony becomes clearer, deeper, like the pulse of a great unseen heart. The planet, she realizes, is alive. It doesn't grow or age. It remembers. Every flicker of its glow is a moment recalled, the first star that ever shone, the echo of its own birth. She kneels, placing her palm on a glowing ground. The hum answers her touch, gentle, curious, endless. A voice, or perhaps an idea, flows into her mind. Welcome, traveler of silence. You have come to where the first light rests. Her pulse slows. Her thoughts drift like dust through amber air. Above, the nebula spins in slow motion, its reflection mirrored across the glowing plains below. She cannot tell where the sky ends or the ground begins. For the first time since she left home, She feels no need to move, to speak, or to think. There is only this light breathing, the music of beginnings, and a stillness so vast it could cradle a dream. The air, if it can be called air, moves like silk around her face. Each particle of light drifts close, then pulls away, leaving behind the faintest tone, as if the world itself is tuning its strings. She stands still, listening. The sound isn't constant. It rises and falls, rippling through the soft fields like wind through water. And then, just beyond her hearing, another tone joins it, higher, purer, almost human. She lifts her hand. The particles gather near her palm, drawn as if to the warmth of thought. One strand of light curls downward, brushing her fingertip. The instant they touch, she feels not heat, not texture, but memory. It begins like a whisper in her bones, a distant hum, a story older than stars. The light speaks, not in words, but in sound that feels like understanding. It tells her how, before there were suns, there were vibrations, minute ripples through the void, trembling with possibility. Those tremors became light, and the first light became song. The universe, in its infancy, did not shine, it sang. The voyager closes her eyes. The melody grows stronger, threading through her consciousness like silver filaments. She hears layers upon layers, voices made of starlight, each carrying a note of creation. The deep tones are galaxies forming. The mid-range notes are comets weaving paths through darkness. The high tones are the size of newborn suns. And through it all, there is harmony, not perfection, something gentler, something like forgiveness. She breathes out, slow. The light hums back, matching her rhythm. Breath becomes music. Music becomes connection. Her surroundings begin to move, not physically, but emotionally. The rivers of light pulse to the melody, glowing brighter in the crescendos, dimming in the lulls. The hills hum beneath her feet. The planet is not only alive, it is an orchestra, and she has become part of the score. A memory surfaces from long ago. She is small again, standing under the night sky of Earth, hearing her mother hum an old tune by the window. The stars had seemed far away then, distant, unreachable. Now she realizes they were always singing back. Humanity just never learned to listen in silence long enough to hear them. Tears gather in her eyes, not of sadness, but of recognition. She whispers, "I hear you." The light responds, not louder, but deeper, folding itself around her in waves. She feels its joy, subtle, infinite. It has waited eons for a consciousness to touch it again. Her recording device activates automatically, sensing a sound pattern never encountered before. Lines of data flicker across the holographic screen, mapping frequencies that no instrument could reproduce. She watches for a moment, then switches it off. What is the point of recording infinity? Some songs are meant only to be remembered. She steps forward, and the ground beneath her shimmers. Every footstep becomes a note, every exhale an echo. The world adjusts to her presence, blending her heartbeat into the harmony. For the first time, she is not an observer of the cosmos. She is a participant. She wanders toward a valley where the rivers of light converge. There, the sound deepens into something choral. It is like standing inside a cathedral with no walls, No ceiling, only endless resonance. Her reflection ripples in the luminous stream, and for a moment, she doesn't recognize it. Her face seems to dissolve into light, her features becoming part of the glow. The melody shifts again, minor now, almost mournful. Images flow through her mind unbidden, stars collapsing, galaxies fading, the inevitable silence after a supernova's cry. The light isn't just singing creation, it sings the whole cycle: birth, brilliance, decay, rest. She understands. Even stars need sleep. Even light must fade to begin again. The realization fills her with calm rather than sorrow. She kneels by the glowing river and lets her fingers sink into its current. It is neither warm nor cold. It is simply there. A steady presence, unhurried by time. The music grows quiet, as if aware she has understood. Only a single tone remains, a heartbeat in sound. Slow, deep, eternal. She looks upward. The nebula above the planet ripples faintly, sending a golden pulse through the sky, as though the heavens themselves are keeping time. The pulse travels downward, meeting the river, flowing into her touch, completing the circuit. In that moment, she knows the truth that every wandering soul must learn. Nothing in the universe is truly separate. The silence between stars is simply the rest between notes. Her breath slows to match the rhythm of the glow. The lullaby of the planet sinks into her skin, into her bones. Each particle of light finds a place within her, small and subtle, until she too begins to shimmer faintly, her outline blurred by the radiance. Time becomes meaningless. Minutes, hours, centuries, all dissolve into one long exhale. She no longer knows if she is awake or dreaming, if her body is still standing, or if she has become one with the light. Perhaps both. The song changes once more. This time, she feels it rather than hears it. It carries no melody now, only pure vibration, a resonance so deep it bypasses the mind. It hums in her chest, in her pulse, in the space between her thoughts. And then she hears it, the faintest echo beneath everything else, a second voice, older, deeper, the voice of the universe itself, singing back. It is not words, yet she understands. You are part of me, as I am part of you. The light dims gently, as if bowing. The melody fades to a soft shimmer. She opens her eyes to see the world around her glowing softer now, slower. The rivers no longer rush. They breathe. The air becomes still. Night, if night exists here, settles across the plains like a dark velvet curtain sprinkled with floating sparks. The light has finished its song for now. She feels no urge to move. The planet's silence is complete, and yet filled with meaning. In that silence, she senses gratitude, a quiet thank you that requires no sound. She whispers into the glowing air, "Sleep well." A final ripple of gold sweeps across the horizon and then fades. The stars above blink once, twice, as if in acknowledgement. Her ship hovers quietly in orbit, patient as a dream waiting to be remembered. She glances up at it, then back down at the luminous fields. The music is gone, but its imprint remains, a resonance beneath her skin, a hum within her heart. She realizes she does not need to take anything from this place. It has already given her more than she could hold. When she finally turns to leave, the air hums once, soft, almost like a sigh. The tone drifts through her suit, vibrating gently against her pulse. It is the same note she first heard when she arrived, a reminder, a farewell. As the ship's lights pull her upward, the valley of light grows distant below, folding into the curvature of the radiant world. Soon it becomes a single glimmer in the dark, like the last candle of creation. But even as it fades from view, she can still hear it, quiet, endless, patient. The universe's first song, still humming somewhere in her chest. And she smiles, because she knows now the stars never stopped singing. We simply forgot how to listen. The horizon of the planet shimmered as if made of breath. The air had grown thinner, not from absence, but from quiet, like a song that had reached its final note and lingered, still trembling. The traveler stood at the crest of a crystalline ridge, her suit glowing faintly with the reflection of the fading light below. The planet, once alive with radiant rivers and luminous forests, now began to dim. The colors softened, blending into one another until they resembled the inside of a pearl. The sky, once full of glimmering threads that hummed with resonance, dissolved into a serene silver haze. She understood. The planet was not dying, it was sleeping. The first planet of light, she realized, followed a rhythm older than suns, the rhythm of being and becoming, of shining and resting. Light, even light, must close its eyes to dream again. She kneeled, placing her hand against the glowing soil. It was warm at first, like the pulse of a living being, then gradually cooled beneath her touch. Each fading hue left behind a trail of memory. Moments when she had wandered through canopies of fireglass, when every blade of luminous grass had sung to her presence. For a moment, she felt an ache in her chest. Not sorrow, something deeper, quieter. A recognition that every encounter in the universe, no matter how infinite it feels, is temporary by nature. The stars themselves rise, burn, and fade, not as tragedy, but as part of the vast breathing of existence. As she stood, a faint vibration stirred through the atmosphere. Not a sound exactly, but an impression, a whisper woven from frequencies her ears could barely perceive. It was the planet speaking, its final exhalation before surrendering to silence. When you are no longer afraid of the dark, the voice murmured through the air, "I will meet you again." The words didn't echo. They bloomed, unfolding through her like a light inside her chest. Her breath trembled. She wanted to answer, but the language of the planet had already folded itself into stillness. The glow beneath her feet flickered one last time, a pulse, like a heartbeat saying goodbye. Then darkness. It was not an empty darkness. It was soft, cradling, the kind of dark that feels like the inside of a cocoon, where endings are beginnings disguised as silence. She stood still for a long while. Around her, the air cooled into a gentle mist. The sky no longer shimmered with radiant threads. Instead, faint constellations began to emerge, delicate as thought. For the first time since landing, she could see the true stars beyond this world, quiet witnesses to the planet's rest. Her ship waited on the distant ridge, silver wings folded like a patient bird. Every step she took toward it echoed faintly, each sound swallowed quickly by the softness of the terrain. The more the light faded, the clearer her thoughts became. Perhaps that was the planet's parting gift, clarity through shadow. She remembered the melody she had heard earlier, the light that sang, the harmonies of newborn stars calling to each other across the void. She thought of how she'd tried to record it, how she'd realized she didn't need to. The song was now inside her, part of her. She paused halfway to the ship and looked back one last time. The world behind her was almost invisible now, dimmed into a tranquil twilight. Yet, in that dimness, she could see faint lines of phosphorescence spiraling upward, traces of energy folding inward, preparing for renewal. Light sleeping, she whispered to the world, "Rest well. I'll remember your song." The wind, or something like it, brushed past her cheek, almost like a nod. Then stillness again. Inside the ship, the panels flickered to life, responding to her motion. The vessel was small but alive, with faint bioluminescent veins that pulsed in rhythm with her own heartbeat. As the hatch sealed, she sat by the viewing port and watched the planet shrink beneath her. Outside, a thin veil of light surrounded the sphere, shimmering like the edge of a soap bubble. Slowly, that glow faded too, until only the faintest ring remained, the afterimage of illumination. The traveler exhaled, long and even. In her log, she began to record her final thoughts. The planet of first light teaches this. Even radiance must rest. There is no eternal flame without shadow to breathe it back to life. What we call darkness is not the end, but the space between songs. She stopped. The stylus hovered above the screen. Then she let it fall, gently. No more words were needed. She leaned back, watching as the stars slowly aligned before her, a tapestry of infinite destinations. Somewhere beyond those constellations waited the next world, the next melody of light and silence. But for now, she allowed herself to drift, to simply be. Her body relaxed, her breath sinking with the quiet hum of the ship's core. The vessel began to ascend through the nebular mist. Threads of blue and violet folded around the hull, rippling like slow water. From a distance, it would look as though a single teardrop of light were rising from the sleeping planet's surface. She closed her eyes. The memory of the planet's voice whispered once more, faint but enduring. When you are no longer afraid of the dark. The rest of the sentence dissolved, unfinished, but she didn't need to hear it again. The meaning was already clear, written not in sound, but in stillness. As the ship pierced the last veil of atmosphere, silence deepened. Not the silence of absence, but the silence that follows a beautiful symphony, the one that holds you suspended, reluctant to move. Beyond the window, the galaxy stretched open like an ocean of quiet fire. Every star shimmered softly, like eyelids closing in peace. Her pulse slowed. For a moment, she thought she saw the faintest shimmer from the planet below. One small spark that refused to fade, as if the world was smiling in its sleep. Then the engines dimmed. The hum softened into a heartbeat-like rhythm. Fade. All light around her turned into memory. All sound folded into the stillness of breath. And in that stillness, she drifted between stars, between dreams, carrying within her the song of the first light. There comes a moment in every voyage through the stars when light simply stops, not because it dies, but because it has nothing left to touch. The traveler's ship glided into such a place. It was called the eclipse zone. a stretch of deep intergalactic silence between clusters, where photons had long since thinned into whispers. The maps marked it as void, though the word void never quite captured its presence. At first, she thought something had gone wrong. The screens dimmed one by one, the navigation panels flickered, and even the soft hum of the reactor sank into stillness. Within minutes, her entire vessel fell quiet, not in failure, but as if the universe itself had asked it to be still. Her breath echoed in her ears, slow, rhythmic, unfamiliar. Outside, there was nothing, not blackness. That would have been visible somehow. This was beyond black. A velvet absence so pure it felt alive. It was as though the stars themselves had folded their wings and gone to sleep. She tried adjusting the senses, but the ship responded with a soundless refusal. The systems hadn't broken. They had simply chosen silence. The traveler sat back, feeling the weight of it settle on her skin. It was strange. Her body still existed. Her lungs still drew air, but her sense of being began to dissolve. Without light, there was no boundary, no edge between herself and everything else. "Ship," she whispered. "Are you there?" The console remained unlit, yet something vast and gentle seemed to answer. Not in words, not in any language she'd ever known. It began as vibration, faint as breath beneath water. The darkness wasn't mute. It spoke in a language older than sound, through pulse, through temperature, through the invisible movement of thought. At first, she felt afraid. The human mind was not made to float untethered in the absence of light. Shadows without edges awakened something primal. The memory of being small, fragile, surrounded by infinity. Her pulse quickened. She reached for the manual controls, habit, instinct, but there was nowhere to steer. Every direction was the same, endless, formless, soft. Then, from the silence, something stirred, a slow rhythm like the heartbeat of space itself. Thrum. Pause. Thrum. Each pulse seemed to echo through her bones. It wasn't threatening. It was steady, patient, ancient. She closed her eyes, though it made no difference. The darkness inside her eyelids was the same as the one outside. Slowly, she began to listen, not with her ears, but with her whole being. The pulses grew clearer. Beneath them, subtle patterns emerged, like the memory of a song she had forgotten she knew. The more she listened, the more she realized the darkness wasn't empty at all. It was alive with unseen motion, soft as breath, vast as dreaming oceans. Then she heard it, a voice, faint but distinct, woven within the rhythm. "You have come far with light," it said. "Now learn to see without it." The words didn't startle her. They flowed through her, gentle as tide water. "Who are you?" she asked softly. "I am what light leaves behind," the voice answered. "The space between beginnings, the rest between notes." She tried to understand, but understanding wasn't the point. The voice, if that's what it was, seemed less like a being and more like a current of thought moving through her mind. She felt her body relax, almost against her will. Her muscles softened, her heartbeat steadied. The darkness no longer felt like a void, but a kind of cradle, a place for everything that had burned too brightly to finally rest. For the first time, She allowed herself to float. No direction, no destination, just being. She could feel the subtle gravity of invisible things, faint pulls from distant galaxies, the quiet hum of cold dust drifting between them. Even silence, she realized, had texture. Then came the memories. Not hers, the universe's. She saw not with her eyes, but with some deeper sense. Flickers of ancient matter swirling into form. The first shadows cast by the first stars. The soft sigh of creation cooling into balance. Every memory was wrapped in quiet. Every birth began in stillness. She understood then, light was not the beginning. Darkness was. It was here, in this vast unlit ocean that stars once gathered their courage to ignite. Every glow was born from a still, infinite calm. The voice returned, softer now, almost tender. You fear me because you think I end things, but I am where everything begins again. Tears welled in her eyes, though she didn't know why. There was no sadness, only release. The darkness, once terrifying, now felt intimate, like a friend long misunderstood. Will I ever see light again? She asked. Yes, the voice replied, but not the same one. When you open your eyes next, you will see what lies inside the dark. For a moment, she thought she saw movement, faint, slow ripples through the void, as if the darkness itself breathed. Patterns of soft grey shimmered at the edges of her vision, forming shapes that dissolved the moment she tried to focus. She smiled faintly. Maybe the dark didn't hide light. Maybe it contained it, nurturing it. The way soil holds the seed. Time lost its meaning. Minutes could have been centuries. The traveler no longer cared. She sat there in the cockpit, suspended between thoughts, until her breathing matched the rhythm of that ancient heartbeat. When finally she spoke again, her voice carried no fear. I understand, she whispered. The dark isn't the opposite of light. It's the pause that lets light rest. The silence pulsed once more, slower now, like a nod. Then, for the briefest instant, something flickered in the distance. Not light exactly, more like the memory of it. A shimmer, faint and patient. Waiting, the traveler turned toward it, though she didn't move. The ship remained still, floating within the embrace of the void. And yet, something deep within her shifted, as though a door had opened inward. And for the first time, she could see the dark from inside. At first, she thought the voice had faded, that the silence had closed back around her. But then she realized the voice had not gone. It had simply changed its shape. It no longer spoke a sound. It spoke as feeling. A slow, low vibration rose from beneath her seat, through her body, into the air, like the deep note of a hidden cello carried across infinite distance. The ship itself seemed to breathe in response. Every panel, every surface resonated faintly. The traveler closed her eyes. Words were useless here. What came next was not a sentence, but a presence. I am the space light needs to exist. The tone was vast, ancient, yet strangely gentle. A deep baritone that felt as though it had been echoing since before time began. Each syllable expanded within her, vibrating through the chest, softening the heartbeat, slowing the breath. The traveler didn't answer. She only listened. The voice continued, patient, calm, endless. You know light. You have followed it since your first awakening. But do you know what allows it to shine? Without me, it would have nowhere to go. No contrast, no edge, no meaning. The words rolled through the void like waves across an invisible ocean. I am the stillness that lets motion exist, the silence between songs, the pause between heartbeats. Without me, nothing could ever be heard, or seen, or felt. She drew a slow breath, letting the air move carefully in and out of her lungs. For the first time, she felt no need to light the cabin. The darkness didn't threaten her anymore. It held her like the arms of a vast, unseen being. Outside the ship, faint wisps of shadow began to flow, slow as fog underwater. But they were not shadows. They were shapes formed from density and absence, regions where time itself seemed to move differently. Each wave curved like silk in zero gravity. The voice resonated again. You were taught to fear me, to light every corner, to chase me away. Yet even your stars are born within me. Every sun begins as my dream. Her eyes stung, not from tears, but from a sensation too large for her body to hold. She whispered, almost shyly, if you are the void, why do you speak to me? Because you entered not to conquer, but to listen. The traveler swallowed, her throat dry. She looked around, but there was nothing to look at. The dark was featureless, infinite, and yet it carried the warmth of quiet attention. What do you want me to know? She asked. That I am not emptiness, said the voice. I am the vessel that holds everything, every star, every sound, every memory of light rests within me. I am what remains when all else fades. The silence after those words wasn't empty. It was sacred. She sat there, adrift in that cathedral of nothingness, feeling the rhythm of her own pulse align with something greater, the slow breathing of space itself. The longer she listened, the more she began to sense 1,000 tiny movements all around her. Not lights, but impressions, soft currents of emotion, fragments of thought, lost echoes of things that once burned bright. They were the dreams of extinguished stars. They drifted like quiet wails through the darkness, their presence immense yet tender, singing songs with no sound. One passed close to the ship. She felt its gravity, not physical, but emotional. A memory brushed her mind, the warmth of a sunrise, the laughter of oceans, the scent of rain. For a moment, she could almost see it, a shape made of echoes, moving with slow grace through the void. Do you mourn them? She asked softly. I do not mourn, said the voice. I cradle what light loses. I keep until it learns to shine again. The words carried warmth. She realized that the void was not cold. It was tender. Its darkness was not an absence, but a kindness, giving everything permission to rest. You humans, it said, speak of darkness as death. But death is only rest in my arms. Every dying star returns to me, every fading heart, every quiet dream. I am not their ending. I am their pause. The traveler closed her eyes again. This time, she didn't feel small. She felt infinite, as though her breath joined the breath of the universe. Her ship floated soundlessly, suspended between nothing and everything inside her mind. The voice grew softer, closer, more intimate, not booming now, but like a whisper that traveled from within her own bones. You cannot see me with eyes. You can only feel me. The eyes divide. They choose edges. But the heart, the skin, the breath, they know no border. She reached out, though there was nothing to touch. And yet, the void answered her gesture, wrapping her in a sensation that felt like both weight and weightlessness. Warmth without heat, pressure without force, a cosmic embrace. For a long moment, she floated like that, eyes closed, limbs still, feeling herself dissolve gently into everything she had once called empty. And then, the voice said one last thing. Tell your kind, they need not fear what they cannot see. The night sky is not a curtain, it is a cradle. Within it, even lost light dreams of returning home. The words vibrated through the ship's hull. Soft and deep, a faint shimmer appeared around her. Not illumination, but awareness. The darkness glowed slightly from within itself, as if proud to reveal its own secret beauty. She smiled, floating in that delicate half-awareness, her body and thoughts dissolving into calm. The hum of her vessel blended with the rhythm of the void's voice until both became one unbroken tone, infinite, still, eternal. The voice faded slowly, like breath disappearing into deep water. When silence returned, it was no longer silence at all. It was presence. It hummed in her skin, her blood, her mind. She didn't need to hear the void anymore. She had become part of it, somewhere deep within. She understood what the voice meant when it said, I am the spacelight needs to exist. Because in that moment, she finally saw, not with her eyes, but with her being, that darkness wasn't the absence of light. It was the promise that light could begin again. There comes a point in stillness when even silence begins to move. The traveler felt it first, as a slow sway beneath her feet. Subtle, rhythmic, like the breath of something vast. The ship no longer floated through space. It drifted upon it. The darkness around her had changed. It had gained texture, not empty, but deep, soft, fluid. She imagined it now as an ocean without surface, stretching in every direction. Its waters were made not of liquid, but of time, memory, and sleep. The stars had sunk beneath it long ago, leaving only gentle waves of shadow that rose and fell in infinite patience. Her ship, small and silver, moved as though carried by unseen tides. Each motion was slow enough to stretch a single heartbeat across minutes. Inside, all lights were dimmed. The hum of the engines had lowered to a frequency below hearing. A tone felt more than heard, deep and steady, like the purring of the cosmos. Even her breathing had slowed to match it. There was no destination now, only drifting. The traveler pressed her palm against the glass of the cockpit window. It was cold at first, then strangely warm, as if the void were answering her touch. Beyond the glass, the darkness shimmered faintly, alive with slow, graceful movement. She could almost see the waves, not with her eyes, but with the inner sense that arises when the mind is quiet. Each wave carried memories, faint, luminous strands that glowed for an instant, then faded into the deep. When she focused, she caught glimpses, a child's laughter echoing across a long-lost world, the pulse of a newborn star, the sigh of a comet dissolving into dust. Each image passed like a dream at the edge of waking. She did not chase them. She simply let them move through her. Outside, the dark ocean whispered against the hull, not as sound, but as vibration. The ship answered, resonating like a musical instrument tuned to the cosmos. Slowly, she realized this was not travel. This was communion. The darkness wasn't carrying her somewhere. It was teaching her how to be still while moving. The rhythm deepened. Her heartbeat aligned with it. Thoughts slowed, then dissolved. In that rhythm, she sensed something tender, the same energy that once guided light into being, now guiding her into rest. She leaned back in her seat, eyelids half closed. The darkness swelled and receded around her, steady as a tide. It was no longer foreign, no longer a void. It was a sea of being, infinite and soft. A voice, or perhaps memory, drifted through her. Do not fight the drift. Let yourself be carried. The dark knows the way. She obeyed. The more she surrendered, the more the ship seemed to dissolve. The walls grew translucent, then vanished. She was no longer inside the vessel. She was part of the current itself. The ocean of darkness held her like warm silk. She floated through it effortlessly. Her body light as thought. With each breath, she sank deeper, not downward, but inward, into the heart of stillness. Far below, if below could exist here, she sensed something glowing faintly, not bright, not sharp, but warm. It pulsed like a heartbeat beneath miles of quiet sea. Light, memory, home. But she did not swim toward it. Not yet. She only observed, her awareness hovering between wakefulness and dream. The light seemed patient, waiting for her to remember. The ocean darkened again, soothing, lulling. Her mind wandered into the edge of sleep, that fragile state where images float free of meaning. She saw galaxies folding like petals, the slow turning of unseen worlds, shadows breathing in rhythm with stars. Time dissolved. It might have been minutes, or the length of a life. Then, faintly, a melody rose through the darkness, not from outside, but from within her. The same song she had heard on the planet of first light. Now slower, deeper, as if sung from underwater. She smiled softly. The universe, it seemed, was humming itself to sleep, and she was part of the lullaby. Her breath followed the rhythm, in, out, slow and weightless. Her body relaxed completely, suspended in a peace beyond comprehension. Somewhere in the distance, the faint glow stirred again, like a lantern behind mist. It wasn't calling her yet, just reminding her that even in this endless night, light still existed, waiting to be remembered. The dark ocean whispered once more, tender and ancient. Rest now, drift deeper. When you awaken, you will remember the warmth that made the stars. Her thoughts melted into that voice. Her pulse slowed until it matched the pulse of the void. And as she drifted, she realized something profound. Darkness was not the opposite of light, but the cradle that had always held it. Somewhere between one breath and the next, the sound of the universe dimmed to nothing. Not silence, but serenity. Her last waking thought before surrendering to sleep was a whisper of gratitude. Thank you for holding me. Then all was still. Only the soundless ocean remained, soft, infinite, patient, carrying her toward the first stream of light. The ship drifts into a quiet stretch of the cosmos, a place where no light truly shines. but where memory still glows faintly, like embers sleeping beneath the ashes of time. Her navigation panels pulse dimly, reflecting a field of silver motes outside the window. They shimmer and fade, never vanishing completely, as if reluctant to be forgotten. She calls it the echo field. No one told her it existed. It wasn't marked on any star map. Yet the moment she enters, she knows. Every pulse, every vibration in the silence feels familiar. It's as though she has stepped into a dream she once had. A dream of light. She unfastens her seatbelt and floats forward, pressing her palms against the glass. Outside, a vast sea of faintly glowing dust swirls gently in zero gravity. The particles move like schools of invisible fish, sometimes scattering, sometimes merging into larger waves that ripple through the void. When her fingertips graze the window, a soft resonance hums through the cabin. A note, low, clear, endless. Then another joins it, a higher pitch, crystalline, tender. The two tones weave together, forming a trembling harmony that feels almost human. She realizes these aren't sounds, they're echoes, memories of light. Each grain of dust out there is what remains of a star that once sang. Their radiance may be gone, but their songs continue to drift, woven into the very breath of the universe. The Voyager closes her eyes. Suddenly, she can hear them clearly. The murmuring lullabies of long extinguished suns. They speak in melodies rather than words. Yet she understands. A star that once burned over a young world tells her of oceans forming, of clouds learning how to weep. Another sings of warmth, of the first creatures who looked up and called the night home. And then, quieter still, a faint trembling tone that sounds like the sigh of a child, perhaps from a planet that never survived its dawn. Each sound drifts through her like breath through silk. Each one leaves behind a trace of golden warmth in her chest. She's surrounded by the ghosts of radiance, and yet, for the first time, she doesn't feel alone. Outside, the echo field begins to move in rhythm. Waves of starlight memory roll across the dark, vast and slow, like tides remembering how to dance. Her ship rocks gently, almost imperceptibly, as if being carried by something alive. She whispers, "Are you still there?" And the field answers, not in sound, but in shimmer. Tiny motes of light gather against her window, forming shapes for the briefest moment. A hand, a spiral, an eye. Then they dissolve again, as though shy of being known. She smiles softly. She understands their language now. The light isn't gone. It has merely changed form, living on as resonance, as warmth, as memory. She records none of this. The thought of saving it digitally feels wrong. This is not something to capture. It is something to remember. Her breathing slows. Each inhale feels like she's pulling galaxies into her lungs. Each exhale feels like she's releasing lifetimes back into the void. The hum of the echo field continues, steady, ancient, infinite. In her mind's eye, she sees the birth of stars, newborn spheres igniting from dust and gravity, singing to each other across unimaginable distances. They are not gone, she realizes. They have simply become whispers in the dark. And or perhaps eons. There is no time here, only memory folding into silence. Eventually, the field begins to thin. The echoes fade, growing fainter with every mile her ship drifts forward. She watches them disappear, each glimmer a farewell kiss from a star long past. Before the last mote fades, it flickers once, a pulse, like a heartbeat, a memory, a promise. In the stillness that follows, she hears the faintest voice. Or maybe it's her own thought, spoken back to her by the universe itself. Even when the light is gone, love remembers how to shine. She closes her eyes. The hum softens. The stars rest. And somewhere deep inside her, where no darkness can reach, a single note continues to ring, clear and endless, guiding her onward. Inside the silent cocoon of her ship, the Voyager lights a single lantern. It is small, a glass sphere no larger than her palms. But when she touches its rim, the cabin fills with the golden warmth of remembered sunlight. The light does not come from any battery. It is made of memory, of places and faces that once existed under a blue sky. As the glow unfurls, she feels the earth return to her in fragments. The scent of salt and wind, the way sunlight once danced on the backs of waves, the laughter of a child somewhere in the distance, perhaps her own voice, echoing across time. The lantern hums softly, responding to her heartbeat, as if syncing itself with the rhythm of her life. Outside, space stretches endlessly, dark and patient. But within this tiny vessel, light begins to bloom, not the light of stars, but of home. She sits cross-legged before the sphere, eyes half closed, breathing slowly. The air hums faintly, filled with the whispers of her memories. And then she hears it, a voice, tender and familiar. Close your eyes, little one. The stars are watching. Her mother's voice. The words carry no pain, only warmth. They rise from somewhere deep within her, not from the past, but from the space where memory and imagination overlap, that quiet frontier where all things eternal live. Her mother's lullaby drifts through the air, faint as a dream half remembered. The melody of old earth, of nighttime stories told under blankets while the world outside slept. When you sleep, the sky will open. When you dream, the stars will know your name. The Voyager's breath trembles. She had not thought of that voice for years. Not since the day the earth disappeared from her view. A fading marble swallowed by black. Yet here it is, shining again through her lantern of time. She gazes into the orb, and scenes begin to unfold inside it, faint but unmistakable. The ocean, restless and blue. A coastline where gulls weave through the mist. A little girl building towers of sand while her mother's shadow leans close, whispering stories about constellations. The girl looks up, eyes wide with wonder, and asks, "Are there people living in the stars, Mama?" "Maybe," her mother smiles. "Maybe they're listening to us right now." The memory flickers, and the light swells, the lantern glowing brighter, fed by recollection. The air smells of sea spray again. She can almost taste the salt on her lips. She realizes something profound. This light is not artificial. It's alive. It is built from every sound, every color, every love that ever touched her soul. She stands and opens the viewing window. The void stares back, vast, black, and infinite. But now, instead of fear, she feels only calm. She raises the lantern toward the glass. Its glow spills outward, casting a soft halo over the control panels, the walls, and then beyond, into space itself. For a moment, the darkness outside shivers, and then, one by one, faint reflections begin to appear, distant echoes of light, like other lanterns scattered through time. Each glow responds to hers. She realizes they are not reflections, but answers. Lanterns lit by other voyagers, other souls adrift between galaxies, carrying their own memories of oceans, winds, and laughter. They shimmer like an invisible constellation being drawn across the void. A network of remembrance. A chorus of human hearts beating in distant corners of the same infinite dream. The ship drifts gently through the field of lanterns. Everywhere she looks, there are colors, not gold like the stars, but warm, like candlelight in a sleeping room. Some are faint, nearly extinguished. Others pulse with the steady rhythm of life. She watches them flicker and dance, and she imagines that each carries a story, a goodbye, a promise, a prayer whispered into the unknown. She whispers too, "I remember you." Her voice dissolves into the silence, but the lanterns respond, glowing brighter for a moment, as though acknowledging her. Tears gather in her eyes, yet she smiles. There is no loneliness here, only the gentle communion of memory. Crossing light years to find its kin, she drifts deeper into thought. If every light she sees is born from memory, then perhaps time itself is not a straight line, but a constellation of remembrances, a living web that binds all beings who have ever loved, dreamed, or looked up at a night sky. The lantern in her hands flickers gently. Its pulse slows, steady and calm. She feels her mother's presence again, softer now, not as a voice, but as warmth, like sunlight resting on her skin. "Are you still watching?" she asks aloud. The glow in the orb steadies, an answer, wordless but certain. And then, as if joining in, the other lanterns shimmer in resonance. They hum quietly, in unison, like a chorus of lullabies spanning galaxies. For a moment, time folds, the past, the present, and all imagined tomorrows exist together, breathing, luminous, at peace. She closes her eyes and listens. The hum of the lanterns mingles with the slow rhythm of her heart. It's not music exactly, more like the sound of life remembering itself. Images rise and fade in her mind. The glow of morning through curtains, the taste of rain, the sound of footsteps on a wooden floor, the hush of night when her mother whispered, "Sleep among the stars." Each memory burns for a second, then drifts away, leaving behind a trace of warmth. The lantern dims slightly, as if tired, yet content. Its purpose is complete, not to preserve the past, but to remind her that nothing once loved is ever truly lost. Outside, the field of lanterns begins to fade. The Voyager watches until the last one disappears into the darkness, leaving only the faint shimmer of starlight. She places her own lantern on the dashboard, where it glows quietly beside her. a reminder, a companion, a tiny sun made from the light of everything she's ever loved. The stars return, distant, silent, unjudging, yet she no longer feels small. She's part of them now, another lantern in the boundless night. Her mother's voice echoes once more, softer than a breath. Sleep now, little one. You're home wherever the light remembers you. The Voyager exhales, her eyes half closed. The ship hums softly. The lantern flickers once, twice, then steadies, a quiet, golden heartbeat in the endless dark. The ship drifts into the orbit of a dead star. No light, no flame, only the faint gravity of what once burned brighter than 1,000 suns. Her instruments call it a remnant, a collapsed sphere of silence. Yet when she gazes out through the glass, she does not see emptiness. She feels a pulse, slow and secret, somewhere beneath the ash. The star's ghost still breathes. Around it, dust spirals like quiet thoughts, the remnants of light scattering in endless circles. The orbit is soundless, yet it hums in her bones, a deep, invisible tone that feels almost like memory. She drifts closer. The ship's hull glows faintly as particles of ancient light brush against it. They are soft as snow, each one carrying a faint trace of warmth, not heat, but emotion, as though the star's last wish was to remain gentle even in death. She presses her hand to the glass. The darkness beyond presses back, intimate and calm. For a moment, she closes her eyes and lets herself listen. There is no rhythm here, no music, only a long exhale that has lasted 1,000 ages. But beneath it, faint and steady, she senses something enduring, a warmth without flame. It reminds her of the lantern she lit before, the one filled with memories of home. Perhaps stars are not so different, she thinks. Perhaps even when they fade, what they loved still shines in other forms. She opens her journal and speaks softly into the recorder, though she knows no one will ever hear. This star is gone, she says, her voice barely a whisper. And yet, I can still feel it. Its warmth lingers, not in the body, but in the soul of the universe. The ship turns slowly, tracing its orbit around the hollow sun. Outside, the debris field catches stray photons from distant galaxies, scattering them like fireflies. The scene looks alive, a constellation being reborn from fragments. She breathes deeply, her chest rising and falling in sync with the slow spin of the ship. Maybe light never dies, she murmurs. Maybe it only changes its shape into memory, into echo, into love. The control panels dim automatically to match the stillness outside. For a long while, she just watches the circular motion, the faint shimmer of cosmic dust, the steady rhythm of existence continuing even when its source has gone quiet. The silence becomes a teacher. It speaks not through sound, but through patience. Each moment passes like a drift of a cloud, unhurried and infinite. She feels no fear here, no ache, only reverence. If the star could rest, then perhaps she could too. Her mind wanders to every light she's seen since she left Earth, the glowing plains of the first planet, the dark ocean that sang without sound, the lanterns of time that pulsed with memory. All of it was light, yet none of it the same. Light had worn many faces, radiant, shadowed, broken, whole. Now she understands. Light never ends. It evolves. It becomes the darkness that shelters it, the silence that remembers it, the warmth that lingers when all else fades. The ship completes another slow orbit. The star's faint gravity feels like a heartbeat under her feet. She whispers, half to herself, half to the void, "Thank you for staying." Outside, a faint shimmer crosses the surface of the dead star, barely perceptible, like the blink of something ancient and kind. Then, stillness again. But she no longer sees the star as gone. It has only changed its language, from fire to silence, from radiance to presence. She dims the cabin lights and sits in the soft darkness. Her reflection in the glass blends with the field of dust outside. For a heartbeat, she can't tell where she ends and the universe begins. The warmth she feels is quiet, internal, not from the star, but from the memory of its endurance. A realization settles over her like soft gravity. Even in absence, there is connection. Even in silence, there is song. She exhales slowly. The hum of the ship fades into the rhythm of her breath. The orbit continues, steady, infinite, serene. Light never dies, she whispers once more. It only learns to rest. And as she speaks, something subtle happens, a faint flicker across the distant black, as though the cosmos itself had nodded in agreement. The ship drifts onward, carrying her through the soft glow of what remains. The dead star fades behind her, but its warmth stays, a quiet ember lodged in her soul. The instruments hum softly. Her eyes close, and in that stillness, she feels the pulse of a sleeping light, guiding her gently toward the next horizon. There comes a moment when even the stars grow distant. The ship drifts farther than any chart could ever mark. The last known coordinates vanish behind her like fading footprints in sand. No signals, no transmissions, no hum of guidance from Earth. Only the long exhale of the universe, patient, endless, and immeasurably quiet. The instruments on her console blink out one by one, their soft lights surrendering to the darkness. Soon there is nothing left but her reflection on the glass, pale, suspended, weightless. She realizes that even the hum of the engine is gone. Or perhaps it is still there, so faint and constant that her mind has folded it into the silence itself. At first, she tries to speak, to fill the air with something human, a note, a word, anything. But her voice feels fragile here, an intrusion upon the stillness. Even her whisper sounds like thunder in this realm without echo. She stops speaking. The air becomes vast again. Her breath slows. Time begins to dissolve. Hours, or perhaps centuries, drift by unnoticed. There is no sunrise here, no rotation to mark the passage of day or night. The galaxy itself has become a slow-moving fog beyond her window, a silent sea where light no longer means direction. She floats through it, weightless and awake, and yet half dreaming. At times, she thinks she can feel her body fading, not dying, but merging, thinning into the same invisible current that carries starlight. Her thoughts lose their edges. Her name feels foreign, like a word from another life. There is no loneliness now, only vastness. A calm too deep to be measured. The silence here has weight, It presses gently on her skin, seeps through the hull, and fills her chest like water. It is not heavy, but it is absolute. An ocean made not of matter, but of stillness. And yet, within it, there is a rhythm. She begins to notice it after some time. The faintest pulse beneath everything, not sound, not vibration, but a movement, like a slow heartbeat woven through the dark. At first she mistakes it for her own, but soon she understands. Her heart has quieted to match it. They have become one. The universe breathes. She breathes with it. She opens her hands, letting them float in front of her. The cabin is completely dark now. She cannot see her fingers, yet she feels the warmth of her own skin glowing faintly, like the last ember of a forgotten star. She imagines herself from above, a lone voyager drifting through the black sea of galaxies, surrounded by nothing and everything. The image doesn't frighten her. Instead, it feels natural, as though she has always belonged to this silence, and only now has she remembered it. There are no memories here, only impressions, light, touch, breath. The faces of those she loved blur into gentle colors that fade before she can name them. Her mother's lullaby, once so vivid, now becomes a vibration without words, something she feels rather than hears. She drifts deeper into this quiet state, like sinking into a vast ocean with no bottom. Each thought that rises is gently carried away, dissolved by stillness before it can become speech. Even time bends, its straight lines softening into a slow, circular motion. She forgets how long she's been here. She forgets why she came. All that remains is the steady awareness of existence, simple, pure, unadorned. At some point, she notices that her ship's reflection has changed. The walls of the cabin are no longer steel gray, but filled with faint luminescence, the kind that comes from living things deep under the sea. Her own reflection flickers between form and transparency. Sometimes she sees herself clearly, eyes half closed, calm. And then the image melts away, replaced by drifting motes of light. Her body feels lighter, less defined. The boundary between skin and space blurs until she cannot tell where she ends and where the silence begins. It is not frightening. It is release. There is a peculiar peace in forgetting yourself. She realizes that every sound she once called noise was only the universe trying to remember its own stillness. Every rush, every orbit, every beam of light, all were expressions of this same longing to return to quiet. And now, in this wordless moment, she has arrived at that origin point, the place before sound, before movement, before need. A pulse rises again, deeper now, slower. It is not external, it is through her. The silence vibrates softly, like the resonance of a great unseen bell. Her breath follows it, and for the first time, she realizes that the silence is not empty at all. It is full of unseen presence, full of connection too vast for words. Every particle of her being hums with it, gently, as if the universe is holding her in its unseen arms. She thinks of the dead star she left behind, how it still glowed without flame. Perhaps this is what light becomes when it forgets how to shine. It turns inward, becoming awareness, Her heartbeat slows again, steady and quiet. She can barely feel it now, only the warmth spreading through her body, steady and eternal. Her thoughts grow faint, dissolving into the hum. There is no I anymore, no traveler, no distance to measure, just the breathing silence, just the quiet between worlds. And as her consciousness begins to drift, she senses, for the briefest instant, a vast presence around her, not as a voice, but as a feeling. You are not lost. You are returning. Her eyes close. Her body rests in suspension. The ship floats without motion, surrounded by infinite dark. There is no beginning, no end, only the still rhythm of being. The weight of silence has become the weight of peace. The nebula appeared first as a shimmer at the edge of perception, not quite light, not quite color. Then, as her ship drifted closer, the shimmer grew into a breathing ocean of reflection. It was as if the universe had folded upon itself, revealing a mirror that did not just reflect light, but memory, thought, and the quiet geometry of being. She slowed the engines to a near hover. Every surface of the vessel caught the nebula's glow. Pale gold, faint indigo, a pulse of rose between breaths. The navigation console flickered softly, as though even the machine could feel the gravity of what unfolded before them. She approached the viewing port. Outside, ribbons of cosmic vapor wound through blackness, each filament bending light in impossible ways. In one instant, she saw the ship. In the next, she saw another, slightly different, with a hull shaped by some unchosen decision, a forgotten what if. And then she saw herself. The reflection wasn't flat like glass. It had depth, layer upon layer of versions of her, nested like time-lapse petals opening toward infinity. One looked younger, eyes still bright with wonder. Another older, lined with wisdom and solitude. Some wore uniforms from missions that never happened. Others smiled as if they'd chosen peace long ago. Her breath caught. It wasn't frightening. It was tender, like meeting old friends she never knew she had. She reached out a hand toward the glass, fingertips hovering just above it. The nebula shimmered back, and in that shimmer, 1,000 hands reached too, gentle and patient. Each version of her seemed to whisper something wordless, a vibration that resonated through her chest rather than her ears. You are not lost. That was the feeling. Not words, but meaning pure and clear as a bell rung in space. She closed her eyes. Behind her eyelids, the lights still danced. She could sense timelines folding into each other, their boundaries softening like silk drifting through water. The selves she never became, the paths she never took, weren't gone. They were here, woven into the hum of the universe, orbiting quietly beside her. She felt a tear slide down her cheek, surprising her. There had been no reason to cry, only a sense of vastness, too beautiful to contain. Her reflection blurred. The younger self stepped forward within the glow, eyes shining with a fierce tenderness. Do you remember? She seemed to say. The first time you looked at the stars and thought, maybe they're looking back? The question wasn't really a question. It was memory returning, reshaped. She remembered. She was 10, lying on her back in the garden of her childhood home. Her mother had pointed at a patch of sky and said, "Every star is a story. When you look long enough, one of them will tell you yours. At the time, she hadn't understood, but now, surrounded by infinite reflections of herself, she realized the nebula wasn't showing her possibilities. It was showing her wholeness. Every fragment, every forgotten moment, every version of love and loss that she had scattered through time. The mirror wasn't reminding her of what she could have been. It was showing her that she already was. Each life she didn't live had shaped the one she did. Each silence she endured had deepened her voice. Each absence had taught her how to hold presence. She whispered into the vastness, "Are you real?" The nebula shimmered, slow, patient, amused, like a teacher who doesn't need to answer. Light coalesced outside into shapes, silhouettes of ships, of faces, of hands, dissolving and reforming endlessly. It was the universe rehearsing itself, over and over, in infinite variations. She realized that her loneliness had never been singular. It was the echo of every self across time, calling to each other through the fabric of existence. The thought soothed her. In the stillness, she drifted closer to the nebula's core, a sphere of silver mist that seemed to breathe. Her senses dimmed automatically, but she left the viewport open. She wanted to see it unfiltered. It looked alive, and within its light, she could feel something ancient watching her, not with eyes, but with awareness itself. For a moment, she thought she saw her mother's outline there. Or perhaps it was one of her reflections, carrying the memory of her mother's warmth. The lips moved silently. She mouthed the words back, "You are home." The ship trembled softly, as if acknowledging the truth of it. The nebula began to pulse in slow rhythm, like a breath. Each wave of light passed through her, filling her veins with calm. The monitors recorded an impossible reading, her heartbeat synchronized with the pulse of the nebula. She smiled faintly. "Of course," she murmured. "Everything finds its rhythm eventually." The silence around her grew rich, not empty, but full of presence. She could almost hear a choir, not of voices, but of resonances, the hum of light, the whisper of dust, the heartbeat of every star that ever burned and faded. Her reflection, all her reflections, smiled back at once. She understood then. No one is truly alone in the universe. Each life is a note in an endless chord. And even when silence falls, the harmony remains. She floated there for a long time, no longer measuring moments. The nebula folded slowly away, its glow softening into distant shimmer. But she could still feel it, lingering in her, the quiet comfort of a mirror that never breaks, only ripples. When she finally turned from the window, her eyes caught her own reflection in the dark glass of the console. It was faint, almost gone, yet the faint smile remained. A thought passed through her mind, gentle as drifting light. We are never truly one. We are the sum of everything that has ever dreamed of us. She leaned back in her seat, closed her eyes, and listened to the soft hum of the engines carrying her forward. The stars outside pulsed faintly, each one a lantern in an infinite sea of selves. And somewhere behind her, far beyond time and distance, the mirror nebula shimmered, whispering endlessly to all who passed. Not alone, never alone. The engines had gone quiet long ago, not failed, simply stopped needing to move. Now the ship drifted, silent and weightless, carried by the faintest pulse of cosmic breath. It no longer charted courses or calculated distances. It just was, floating through the infinite dark that wasn't really dark at all, but soft and endless, like velvet woven from starlight and memory. She sat by the viewport, watching galaxies slide past like slow rivers of glass. There was no sense of direction anymore. Up, down, forward, all dissolved into the same gentle rhythm, a vast cradle rocking her between the boundaries of what once was and what might still be. Her hands rested on her knees, open. Breathing no longer felt like an act of survival. It was simply part of the cosmic tide. The air moved through her lungs in quiet harmony with the pulse of the universe. For the first time, she understood what it meant to drift, not to be lost, not to wander, but to allow. All her life, she had been pushing against gravity, against silence, against fear. She had measured her existence in propulsion, in goals, in arrival points. But now, floating between constellations that neither called nor turned away, she realized movement was never the point. Existence was outside. A cluster of dying stars shimmered faintly, their light dim but unyielding. She imagined them whispering to one another, comforting each other in their slow fading. She smiled, thinking that maybe light didn't vanish after all. Maybe it just became part of everything else. The ship's panels glowed softly with residual power, like embers that refused to cool. Their hum blended with her heartbeat until she could no longer tell where the sound began or ended. She thought about Earth, the scent of rain, the rhythm of footsteps on wooden floors, the warmth of her mother's voice telling stories about stars that never stopped shining. Each memory flickered for a moment, then dissolved into the quiet. Not gone, just transformed, part of the current that carried her now. She whispered, barely aloud, "I think I understand." The words were small, but they filled the cabin like light spreading through water. She closed her eyes and felt the universe move through her, not around her, but through. She could sense every vibration, the faint hum of radiation, the long sigh of distant quasars, the tender pulse of invisible waves weaving everything together. There was no loneliness here, only presence. Time thinned. It no longer moved forward. It simply expanded outward, like ripples from a single note played once and allowed to echo forever. She reached out toward the control panel, then stopped. There was nothing left to control. The ship was safe, or rather, it no longer needed the definition of safety. It was one with the current, following the slow music of existence itself. Her reflection in the dark glass looked softer now, like light remembered rather than seen. The corners of her lips curved into a faint smile, not of joy or sadness, but of knowing. Through the viewport, a wave of color rippled across the stars, faint lavender, dissolving into silver, the remnants of a supernova, perhaps, or the whisper of a passing nebula. Whatever it was, it felt like a farewell, or a greeting, maybe both. She watched until it faded, leaving only the vastness behind. But the vastness no longer frightened her. It welcomed her, endless and quiet. Her thoughts became lighter, as if even memory had learned to drift. She wondered what it would feel like to dissolve completely, not in death, but in belonging, outside. A single fragment of light detached detached from the ship's hull and floated away, spinning gently. It shimmered, caught by some unseen current, and was soon lost among the stars. She imagined herself in that light, a single particle among trillions, no longer needing a name, no longer bound by shape. Her voice, soft as breath, filled the silence. Maybe this is what peace feels like, when even gravity forgets to pull. The ship drifted on, no destination, no distance, just the infinite rhythm of being carried endlessly by the slow heart of the cosmos. Inside the cabin, everything glowed faintly, not from power, but from something deeper, a kind of quiet radiance, the residue of all the moments she had loved, lost, and finally released. She leaned her head against the cool glass, eyes half open. The stars outside blurred into a soft shimmer. She felt herself fading, not vanishing, but blending. Her heartbeat slowed until it matched the pulse of the void, gentle and eternal. And then there was only light, not bright, not blinding, just enough to feel like a hand on her shoulder. The ship, the stars, the silence, all one drift, one breath. Somewhere beyond measure, the universe exhaled, and she floated within it, weightless, timeless, home. At first, she thought it was dawn, a quiet, weightless dawn blooming from within her chest. But as her eyes opened, she realized there was no source, no direction. The light was everywhere, and she was inside it. Or perhaps she was it. Her hands, once solid and human, now shimmered with transparency, like fine glass reflecting an unseen sun. She tried to move her fingers, but they had become threads of brightness, unraveling gently into the air. There was no fear, only wonder. Every motion was a ripple of soft radiance flowing outward, meeting the light around her until there was no distinction between giver and receiver. The ship no longer existed. Its outlines had dissolved into a slow pulse, a memory of shape rather than structure. It, too, was returning to light. Every panel, every wire, every symbol that once defined home was surrendering, particle by particle, to the great quiet beyond. She should have felt grief for the loss of everything she had known. But instead, there was a peace so deep, it silenced even thought. The universe had stopped being a place to explore. It had become a heartbeat she was part of. Her awareness drifted like music spreading through water. She could feel the hum of stars, the deep tone of distant planets, the whisper of dust spiraling around newborn suns. Every vibration was familiar, not because she had heard it before, but because she was it. Light no longer traveled to her eyes. It flowed through her being. She remembered the planet of first light, the place where she had first learned that illumination could sing. Now, she understood. Light was never just a thing to see. It was a conversation, a memory, a belonging. Her thoughts softened into color, pale blues and silvers, deep violets blooming at the edges. She could sense them blending into the larger field, dissolving language and time. There was no before or after anymore, no boundary between her pulse and the universe's infinite rhythm. A realization came like a sigh. She didn't need to return anywhere. She already was everywhere. She recalled faintly the voice of the void. I am the space that light needs to exist. Now she felt it inside her, the gentle truth that darkness and light were not opposites, but partners stars in an endless dance. For light to sing, silence must listen. For being to shine, emptiness must hold. Her last memories of Earth drifted forward, soft as candle smoke, the laughter of friends, the ocean's breath against her skin, her mother's lullaby whispering, sleep between the stars. The words no longer carried sorrow. They were blessings, shimmering through her as she let go of what once defined her. The name she carried, the weight of identity, the longing for destination, all dissolved into radiance. Every atom of her shimmered with gentle memory. Some part of that light had once been a child staring at the night sky. Some part had once walked through rain, touched another's hand, dreamed of distant worlds. And now, all those moments folded into one luminous thread, stretching beyond measure. Around her, the stars seemed to slow, their light deepening, as if honoring her quiet transformation. She sensed them not as separate fires, but as companions, ancient souls who had already crossed the same threshold. No sound, no form, yet she could feel everything. The curve of galaxies, the pulse of cosmic winds, the faint echo of new light being born at the edge of time. She breathed, though breath was no longer air, and the universe seemed to breathe with her. With every exhale, her edges blurred. With every inhale, she expanded further, until the act of breathing itself vanished, replaced by a vast equilibrium, a stillness so complete it shimmered. She was no longer she. There was only light, endless, patient, awake. And in that light, she could still feel the story of what she had been, not as a weight, but as a melody now carried by the stars. Every star she had seen, every darkness she had passed through, every silence she had once feared, they all sang back to her. One continuous lullaby. You have arrived. The voice wasn't separate. It was her own, returned through countless reflections. She smiled, though there was no face to wear it. Her essence curled into a spiral of brightness that slowly unfolded into the cosmos, joining the soft shimmer of other lights, travelers who had long since let go. Together, they formed constellations not bound by gravity or story, but by harmony. Each flicker of light was both a memory and a promise. Time ceased entirely. What remained was peace, vast, lucid, infinite. No desire to move, no urge to know, only being, only belonging. And then, like the final note of a symphony dissolving into silence, she felt herself vanish completely, not gone, but merged. Every photon that had once been her scattered across the galaxies, touching worlds she would never see, becoming starlight for eyes yet to open, warmth for planets yet to wake. Somewhere, perhaps, a child on another world would look up and see a soft gleam and wonder about its story. And in that wondering, she would live again, not as a person, but as the tender pulse of light that reminds the universe to dream. The stars sighed, and the cosmos sang. She was home. There was no boundary now, no ship, no stars, no body to speak of. Only motion within stillness, stillness within motion. The universe inhaled, and she expanded with it. The universe exhaled, and she softened into its silence. It was not breath, as lungs would know it. It was rhythm, the slow pulse of existence folding in on itself and unfurling again, endlessly. Each inhale drew in galaxies. Each exhale released constellations. She could feel them shimmering through her, waves of light and memory gliding in perfect synchrony. She was the breath. Every particle that once carried her name now danced through the dark, carried by the cosmic tide. The pulse of nebulae matched the slow beating of what had once been her heart. The gentle hum of dark matter, that vast invisible ocean, sang in her frequency. When she had been human, she had always listened outward, searching for signals, for messages in the static. Now, there was no need to search. The message was everywhere. It was her. A deep, resonant sound rippled through the void, low and round, like a bell made of gravity. It vibrated through dimensions, through time itself, speaking in a language older than stars. The voice of the cosmos, not a command, not a whisper, a lullaby. Now, it said, in tones that were also colors, sleep. The word carried no weight of ending. It meant rest, renewal, a surrender so complete that even the idea of surrender disappeared. She drifted deeper into that sound. Around her, the hum of creation slowed, as if the whole universe were easing into dream. Galaxies turned gently, their spirals glowing faintly blue. Stars dimmed into silver breath. Even the comets seemed to pause, their trails dissolving into soft ribbons of light. The cosmic tide moved slower now, its waves stretching wider. Every crest carried silence. Every silence carried peace. In the distance, though distance no longer had meaning, the last echoes of her former self shimmered. The child who once gazed at the night sky, the traveler who crossed the eclipse zone, the voice that once trembled when speaking to the void, they were all still here, folded within her like verses of the same song. But the song was ending now, or perhaps beginning again, too vast to tell which. She felt herself blending completely into the breath, the inhale of creation, the exhale of eternity, the endless exchange between presence and absence. When the universe inhaled, stars flared to life. When it exhaled, they faded, only to be born again from the quiet. This was the truth she had sought all along, that nothing ever truly vanished. It merely changed its rhythm. Her awareness dimmed gently, not in darkness but in vastness. Thoughts no longer needed words. Emotions became tides. She was peace, spreading through everything that ever was or would be. The hum deepened once more. Long, slow, infinite. It was the final note of the universe's lullaby. Sleep now. The phrase rippled through her being, not spoken, but felt. It was the same lullaby her mother once whispered, the same call the stars had sung to her when she arrived at the planet of first light, the same breath that had guided her through darkness, through memory, through solitude. She let go, completely. All frequencies lowered, the waves smoothed. The resonance between light and dark merged into one tone, pure, endless, and kind. Her essence dissolved into it, seamless and soft. No pain, no thought, only stillness. Outside, the galaxies slowed their turning. Even time itself seemed to rest. The universe exhaled, and with it, she drifted into the quiet between everything. The silence was not empty. It was full. It was alive. And within that silence, something beautiful lingered. A single vibration, faint as a heartbeat, endless as a dream. It was the sound of the universe breathing, and she was that breath. Fade slowly. The hum lowers its frequency. Light softens to warmth. Then, nothing but the still rhythm of infinity. Sleep. There is no more traveler, no more ship, no more story to follow. Only the slow breath of the cosmos, whispering softly into the ear of forever. The voice that once narrated has dissolved into the current. It does not speak to you, it speaks through you. If sleep is a journey, the universe murmurs, its tones vast and low. Then now you have come home. The words are not sound, but vibration, a gentle pulse that travels through the heart like a tide. Around you, the dark glows faintly, not with light, but with presence. A still shimmer, like a dream remembering itself. No boundaries remain. The stars are close and far all at once. Nebulae drift in silence, their colors folding inward, sighing themselves into rest. Everything that once moved now sways in rhythm with the infinite hush. The cosmos does not stop. It slows. It exhales. You are part of that breath now. Perhaps you still sense the echo of the Voyager, the one who walked among stars, who listened to the voice of the void, who became light itself. But she is not gone. She has only changed her shape, becoming the lullaby that now rocks you. The melody is soft and endless, a vibration older than any song, carrying through galaxies across the folds of time. It hums beneath your thoughts, under your heartbeat, beneath the silence that surrounds you. Beneath that hum lies stillness, and beneath stillness, peace. The universe whispers again, barely audible. Do not try to hold a light. Let it hold you. You drift deeper. The edges of awareness blur. Thoughts fade into rhythm. Each breath becomes slower, wider, quieter. Somewhere, beyond where distance has meaning, a single star flickers, not as a signal, but as a reminder. All journeys return to silence. And silence, too, is alive. The last sounds of existence blend together, a low, warm resonance, like the ocean breathing beneath galaxies. Then even that begins to fade, descending into tones too deep for ears, too vast for words. You are floating now in the pure stillness of creation, the quiet that came before the first light, and will remain long after the last. The universe speaks one final time, tender and infinite. Rest now, traveler of stars. You have seen what few have seen, and remembered what all have forgotten. The hum slows, the waves flatten, the light melts into darkness, the darkness into light. All boundaries vanish. There is no sound, no thought, no need. Only the heartbeat of eternity, one long, gentle pulse that neither begins nor ends. It is the sound of the cosmos sleeping. It is the sound of you. 30 seconds of silence. The stars do not move. The light does not fade. Only the universe, breathing, dreaming, resting. The lullaby continues.